Welcome to Dr. P.C. Verma Economist YouTube class. In this class, we are going to examine Heckscher theory of international trade on the basis of factor endowment differences. Factor endowment differences is essential condition for international trade. Heckscher described that if factor endowment is same in both nations, there will be no international trade. Therefore, factor endowment proportions must be different in two nations. Only then there will be possibility of international trade. Ohlin Heckscher-Ohlin theory is very popular nowadays because it is also known as Heckscher-Ohlin general equilibrium theory of international trade. General equilibrium means more than one. And general equilibrium theory of international trade is also known as Heckscher-Ohlin theory of international trade. We all know that Heckscher-Ohlin theory is based upon certain assumptions which we have discussed in the previous class. That was the perfect competition in both markets, commodity market and factor market. There must be two nations, there must be two commodity, there must be homogeneous production function in both nations. Same. There must be constant returns to a scale. There must be mobility of factors of production within the country but not between the country. And Heckscher-Ohlin theory, factor endowment differences may be shown graphically in the following way. If production possibility in first quadrant and third quadrant will be same, then the area under production possibility will be same. If this is the case, there will be no international trade because there will be no price differences and therefore there will be no international trade. There will be domestic trade. And when we draw like this, then A1, B1, A2, B2. So look here. Suppose this is export and this is import. In the same way, same distance will be taken here as export and import. domestic price and this is international price. This is B2, E2, C2. This is community indifference curve 1. This is community indifference curve 2. So before international trade, country was at point E2, at point E2, and after international trade, production equilibrium shifts from E2 to F2, and this vertical distance which is inside the factor endowment, that is the from the endowment it is possible, and this is called export. Suppose this is cloth. This is cloth. And this is wine. This is cloth, X goods. This is wine. And this is cloth. This is wine. This is domestic price of country 1. This is international price of country 1. International price of country 1. Domestic price of country 1. Country, when there is no international trade, country is U1. Country is at U1 indifference curve. Community indifference curve U1. Country is at community indifference curve U1. Because domestic price line is tangent to indifference curve U1 in suppose this is England and this is Portugal. We have example of England and Portugal, very common in classical Ricardian theory. And we have illustrated that there, on the basis of Adam Smith theory, there was no possibility of international trade between Portugal and England. But David Ricardo, on the basis of comparative cost difference, proved that international trade is possible between Portugal and England. And that example is taken here, that the factor endowment of England is greater than the factor endowment of Portugal. So this is a small area under Portugal and this is larger area in England. England will export cloth. England will export cloth. That is VF1. And for that there will be tangency, this E1 is autarky. E1 is autarky. Autarky in country 1. Autarky in country 1 is at E1 and autarky in country 2. Country 1 E1 and country 2 E2. Autarky means there is domestic trade. There is no international trade and therefore autarky is established in country 1, and in country 2. Country 1, autarky is at point E1 where production possibility curve is A1, B1 which is larger than A2, B2 of the Portugal, and at this domestic price line PD1, and this is PD2, international price line PE1, this is international price line for country 2, and international price line for both countries same. Therefore, we would not write 1 and 2. It is same for both nations. But factor price, domestic price is different. So domestic price is PD. PD1 is tangent to production possibility curve at E1 and PD1 is tangent to U1 indifference curve, community indifference curve at E1. Therefore, E1 is autarky because at E1 price line is tangent to indifference curve of the country and price line is tangent to production possibility curve or frontier. Production possibility frontier. Or we can write production possibility curve. Production possibility frontier or curve. This is also production possibility frontier or production possibility curve of country 2. We all know that there is a different slope of domestic price line and international price line. On domestic price line, no country will export import, but at that price line, international price line, country 1 will shift from E1 to F1 and production equilibrium changes. There is more production because the area from E1 to y-axis is smaller and from F1 to y-axis is larger. So more production takes place of cloth in England. And look here, this is tangency. Country shift from autarky E1 to C1. and moves from U1 to U2. Moves from U1 to U2. Moves from U1 to U2. This is called gains from international trade. Gains from international trade. Country 1 will shift from U1 to U2, and thereby there is a gains from international trade to country 1. Look here, gains from international trade is shown at C1. Look here, this is the boundary line. This is boundary line. PPC. But country gets more than the boundary line. Country gets more than the boundary line. That means it was not possible for the country to reach the C1 under domestic trade. Under domestic trade, the production possibility curve is the boundary, frontier. Country cannot cross. But under international trade, you can cross by export and import. Therefore, country cross the boundary and reach to the C1. That is the case 1. Look here, this B1 C1 and B1 F1. B1 F1 is exported and that is imported here, B2 C2. B2 C2. So B1 F1, that is export to country 1, B2 C2, export. This is export from England. This is export from Portugal. Look here. What is export from England? That is the import by Portugal. So this is B1 C1. B1 C1 is import. B1 F1 is export. And B1 C1. B1 C1 is import in England. Import in England. B2 C2, B2, B1 C, B1 F1 is export and B1 C1. B1 C1. B1 C1 is import. Import by England. Export by England. And look here, this import reaches to Portugal. B1 C1. And look here, what is export from Portugal? B2 F2. B2 F2 is export by Portugal. And what is import? B2 C2 is import from import by export by Portugal or import by Portugal. What is important? that what is export by England, export by England is V1 F1, and that is received here V2 C2. Same distance. This distance 4 inch. This distance will also be 4 inch. So V1 F1 must be equal to V2 C2. Export is equal to import. Export is equal to import. This is England. This is England and this is Portugal. Again, you take the export of Portugal. V2 F2. V2 F2. V2 F2 is export. Export from Portugal. This must be equal to V2 F2. V2 F2 must be equal to V1 C1. V1 C1 import. V1 C1 import. V1 C1 import by England. So export from England is equal to import by Portugal, and export by Portugal is equal to import by England. And we have taken wine and cloth example. Then England export cloth. England export cloth, and which is equal to import of cloth. Import of cloth. Cloth is horizontal distance here, and same horizontal distance is here. Both distance must be equal. Then export from England cloth received by Portugal, import of cloth. And so the both area, horizontal area must be same. So it comes from first quadrant to the third quadrant. Again, Portugal, F2 V2. F2 V2 is export, and this is of vertical distance, and vertical distance is wine. Vertical distance is wine. So wine export from Portugal. Wine export from Portugal. Wine export from Portugal. V2 F2. V2 F2. Same vertical distance is received by country 1. V1 C1. V1 C1. This is import by country England. So this wine will reach here. Wine is exported by Portugal and will reach to England. V2 F2. V2 F2 distance. V2 F2 distance. V2 F2 distance must be equal to V1 C1 distance. V2 F2 distance must be equal to V1 C1 import. So while drawing this diagram, this area will be equal, which is we have proved already in previous class that the international trade is not possible. Both countries will do domestic trade. But here the area is greater and endowment is greater, so difference in the endowment is established. And look here, this is the vertical distance. This is the vertical distance. And this is the horizontal distance. This is the vertical distance and this is the horizontal distance. Distance is same. One sends as export, other receives as import. Again, another country sends as export, other country receives import. So if we will finish it by drawing a line like this, drawing the line like this. This is international price line. This is international price line, and this proportion is shown by the diagram. So what we will do, we will draw a curve, upper curve of country 1, and again we will draw another upper curve of country 2. Country upper curve of country 1, upper curve of country 1, and upper of country 2 at point T. T point is most important. T point is most important because at T point there is an intersection of upper curve of 2, upper curve of second country, and upper curve of first country. Look here, upper curve means demand for wine equal to supply of cloth. Demand for wine is to supply of cloth. Upper curve will represent demand for cloth is to supply of wine. Suppose country 2 is exporting wine. It means supplying wine to get demand for cloth. Supply of wine and demand for cloth represented by offer curve. Why offer curve is known as reciprocal demand curve. Reciprocal demand curve. Reciprocal demand curve. That means demand for A and supply. Demand for wine and supply of cloth. Demand for cloth, supply of wine. So when there is intersection, then what will happen? Demand for cloth will be equal to supply of cloth. Demand for wine is equal to supply of demand for wine, supply of cloth. Demand for cloth, supply of cloth. Demand for wine, supply of wine. Intersection point will automatically give us two equilibrium at a point. One curve represents reciprocal demand curve. That means the country is sending wine and getting cloth. One country is sending cloth and getting wine. It means country 1 is offering. Country 1 is offering cloth for wine, and Portugal is offering wine for cloth. So at the intersection point, demand for wine and supply of wine will intersect. Demand for cloth and supply of cloth will intersect, because offer curve has a dual commodity in it. Demand for wine, supply of cloth. Demand for cloth, supply of wine. So when there is intersection, then dW will be equal to SW. SC it will be equal to DC. So demand supply equilibrium will take place. Two commodities and two countries. And what we get here, important fact, that this is offer curve of country 1. Therefore, this line will be price line of country 1. Country 1 domestic price line is tangent to this offer curve. And this offer curve 1 will show you like this. This is domestic price line of country 2. This is domestic price line of country 2. This is the amount ON. This is the amount OM that is being exported and imported. This diagram is illustrated by P.T. Ellsworth. P.T. Ellsworth. P.T. Ellsworth is most popular book in the world of international economics. International economics. Fifth edition. This diagram is very interesting, and most of the students in the past 45 years I have been teaching, some of them have secured 80% marks. What you require, you have seen how could I draw on the board. You repeat it on your own copy once, twice, thrice, and you will have grip over that. That whatever we have to get here, they will select here first. Actually, in fact, first time this will happen, then that will happen. There is a risk in drawing that. So therefore you must draw this triangle, and this is represented here from E1 to C1, from indifference curve 1 to indifference curve 2. Here also indifference curve 1 to indifference curve 2. Country 1 and country 2 both are in equilibrium. Then you draw this area here, this area here, because this is common area in both. And then draw a box. Same line here, same line here. So if you draw a box, look here, this is export, this is import, this is export, this is import. So on this axis, both export and import will be illustrated, and there will be intersection at point T. Intersection at point T. This is called terms of trade. This is called terms of trade. That is terms of trade. This is equilibrium in trade. This is equilibrium in. This is equilibrium in trade. This is equilibrium in trade. So this reciprocal demand curve will be known as offer curve. Offer curve is a great instrument which has been drawn for this purpose of getting what you are willing to offer, for what amount of wine you are willing to offer cloth, for what amount of cloth you are willing to offer wine, and for what amount of wine you are willing to offer cloth. if your both nations offer will be same, then it will be known as equilibrium. Known as equilibrium terms of trade, and that will be obtained only by intersection. That will be obtained only by intersection, and intersection of offer curve. Intersection of offer curve is known as terms of trade. When there is intersection of two offer curves, it means this is terms of trade between two nations. They are bound to send that amount of wine to another country, and another country is bound to send cloth of that amount to the first country, and there will be international trade. Country one will shift from lower indifference curve. This is known as community indifference curve. Community indifference curve. Community indifference curve. This is also known as social indifference curve. Social indifference curve. So Heckscher theory of international trade is illustrated with the help of two countries, England and Portugal, two commodities, wine and cloth, two offer curve, OC1 and OC2, and before that we have illustrated autarky condition, because autarky condition is the starting point. Every country is in autarky condition when there is closed economy. We are talking about the open economy. Why a country shift from closed economy to open economy? Country shift from closed economy to open economy only to get gains from international trade. Gains of international trade is possible if there is export and import by both nations, and both nations participating in international trade must shift from lower indifference curve to higher indifference curve. We all know in microeconomics set of indifference curve for one consumer we have seen at graduation level. The same set will be applied in international trade. Only name will change. Name will be community indifference curve. That will indifference curve the whole England. All consumers of England. That is the England. So utility is ordinary utility analysis. We all know that there is a dispute between J.R. Hicks and Paul Samuelson about the indifference curve. And J.R. Hicks himself abandoned indifference curve in his book Revision of Demand Theory. He discarded himself, although it was discarded by Samuelson. American economists believed in revealed preference theory in microeconomics and discarded indifference curve. In most of the American books, there was no indifference curve. But indifference curve, as such, is still enjoying important position in the analysis of Pareto optimality, in the analysis of general equilibrium analysis, in the analysis of public finance. So this still British technique of indifference curve is very important tool to illustrate the welfare. Movement from U1 to U2 is certainly welfare increment in country 1 and country 2. That is the known as Heckscher-Ohlin theory of international trade. We will discuss the next that there is no difference between domestic trade and international trade in the next class. Thank you very much.